think about why you're doing this. I also, I've thought about it a lot. Hi guys, and welcome to my channel again. Today, after a few of your requests, I'm going to make a video about how I got my TEFL certificate. So I'm just going to go through whatever comes to mind. First of all, you can get your TEFL certificate by either doing a face-to-face course where you do actual teaching of students and it's in class, and that, well, my TEFL course was over a period of 4 weeks, but I really would, if you can, I would really recommend doing it face-to-face. So there are numerous ways you can take the TEFL course. A lot of different countries offer the course before you start teaching in that actual country, but you can do it in the country you're in right now. So I did it through my university, through the University of Cape Town, through the English Language Center, and I did it during one of my VACs, so one of my holidays during my studies. And yeah, so I basically applied for financial aid through writing a motivation letter and stuff, but I didn't get financial aid. The cost was, I think, 12,000 Rand. The online version is slightly cheaper. I think it's around 3,000 to 4,000, but I might be mistaken. But I got in, so you still have to fill in the application, and you have to type why you want to teach, if I remember correctly. I'll try and find my application. The course itself was very intensive, I'm not gonna lie. It was very challenging. You either have a listening, writing, speaking. Oh yes, the fourth one was grammar, sorry. So you can have both, a lesson where you're teaching both grammar and speaking. So depending on what kind of lesson you're teaching, you're going to be tailoring the structure of your lesson to that. So that's just a little bit of going into the details of the course. So you usually have a certain amount of lessons per week, if I remember. You have, I think, 2 to 3, sometimes 4 lessons a week. And you actually start teaching like on the second day. And yeah, if you're interested in seeing some of the actual lessons that I created, you can check out my website, which is also in the description. And they also, towards the end, where I did it through the University of Cape Town, they help you create a Google site, which obviously eventually I'll send to employers, and that they can see some of my lesson plans and my experience during the TEFL. If you're also interested in my experience, I wrote about it in one of the pages on my website where I talk about my experience during the TEFL. But yeah, you also meet your fellow teachers or TEFL teachers, and it's great context to have for when you're eventually teaching. I'm actually currently in the process of applying for jobs in South Korea, and I'm going to be teaching at Hagwons. The reason why I'm not going through EPIK, if you know about it, it stands for English Program in Korea, if I'm not mistaken. And that's where you teach in public schools from the morning until the afternoon. But because I went to a French school, it kind of complicates things, meaning that I can, even if I went to an English-speaking university, I can basically only teach at Hagwons. It's a long story. But yeah, anyway, so I'm going to be teaching at Hagwons, which is basically an after-school school, like academy, where students go to school after school to improve their English even more. So yeah, I'm really interested in their culture and the way they operate, and their work ethic, etc. And I'm really keen to get placement there. So there are a lot of documents you need once you have your TEFL. So you need a degree. It doesn't matter what the degree is. You need an undergrad. You need your TEFL certificate. You need 2 letters of recommendation from people obviously it has to be about teaching and how you taught. So it has to be, some sort of institution that is reputable. So yeah, I got a letter of recommendation from the TEFL teachers, from my teachers, and an outside one from one of my professors. You need a police clearance also to show that you don't have a criminal record. You need your transcripts. So once you've graduated, you need sealed transcripts, and make sure you have a few so that eventually when you apply for other jobs, you have your sealed transcripts with you. Obviously you need a copy, so then you need a copy of your degree that you need to get apostilled. You need to get apostilled the copy of that degree. You need to get the police clearance apostilled too. You need ID photos, but that's like little bits and bobs. You need ID photos and copies of your passport. So make sure that's also up to date. yeah, so then when you have all those documents, you basically get an interview with the employer, and then once you get a placement or a job, then you can apply for the visa. I think you send all those documents through to the Korean government in order to get a visa back. But if you're working with an agency, they'll guide you through all the steps, so you don't have to stress. Like, it's a lot to deal with, but I'm working with an agency called Goldkeyeducation, and they are helping me with the whole process. Application process. If you're going through EPIK, there's also an application form that you need to fill in. So I don't need to fill in a form. I need to film a video, like an introductory video of myself, and send through my CV. Yeah, you also need a CV. So yeah, there's a lot. So yeah, you need like an introductory video if you're teaching at Hagwons. If you're teaching it through EPIK, it's an application form. You need, so for me, in my case, teaching at Hagwons through the private academies, I need an introductory video, a CV, my degree copy with apostle, that will be apostilled. I need a police clearance with apostle. I need sealed transcripts, 2 copies that I'm going to send through. I need 2 letters of recommendation, ID photos, copy of my passports, and then obviously eventually my visa. So yeah, there's a lot, but I think it's a great opportunity. Even if you have some interest in teaching and in children, you can't be like, you still have to have some sort of knack or interest in teaching, I think, because you don't want to be miserable in your job, you know. But yeah, go for the right reasons. Think about why you're doing this. I also, you know, I've thought about it a lot. And the salary, so when you get a job, usually the salary is around 2 million won to about, it can go up to 2.5 or 2.7 million won, depending on your experience and your qualifications, etc. There are ways of going if you don't have a TEFL certificate. So some countries and some schools, you don't need a TEFL certificate, but I think your salary can sometimes be slightly higher if you do have one, if you have that experience. But you'd still go through a training process, I believe, once you get there, once you get to your school. So yeah, you get your interview, they ask you a couple of questions like, why do you want to teach in Korea? How long have you had any experience teaching, etc. So the TEFL certificate, you can say you have teaching experience because you have 120 hours and you have a certain number of teaching hours, so actual teaching face-to-face experience. Make sure you're going through a reputable agency that you know of the school really well. There's a lot of things that go into it, but if you really want to do this and if you really want to travel and experience another part of the world, I think it's a great growing opportunity, and that's really one of the reasons why I want to do it as much as possible, is to kind of get out of my comfort zone and to grow and learn about new cultures and experience new things. And I'm sure there's some stuff I've missed out, but if you have any more questions about getting your TEFL or your ESL or anything, or how to get jobs, where to apply, there's also Dave's ESL Cafe. The website's called Dave's ESL Cafe, where you can look for jobs there. So if you have any more questions about jobs and agencies and the course itself and what I went through, etc., then drop me a message, leave me a question in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. I hope it was helpful. Please give me a like and let me know what you thought in the comments, or if you have any questions. Subscribe for more, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.